So I've been wanting to tell this story for a while now, but I've wanted to kind of fully make sense of it myself before I started sharing it with you guys, because the last 8 months, 9 months has been probably one of the biggest journeys of change that I've ever been on. So if you're watching this right now, you're probably someone that is similar to me, similar age, similar range, similar job, career, background, you're into self-improvement, and it's kind of led you to this point where you're questioning if there is more, what is next? So I'm 32 years old at the time of recording this. I've been a thoroughbred entrepreneur for the last 6 years. I've ran my own business for the last 9. I'm from the west coast of Scotland, from a small town, and I've had to do a lot of change in developing myself to become the man that you see today. I literally mean it when I say it. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I'm looking at ways to improve, and there's been different points of that where it's been better, it's been worse, and that's kind of led me on this path to being someone that is like not just chasing outcomes but chasing peace. This video today is about how meeting a monk in Thailand was probably one of the most transformational moments that I've had in years that will always stay with me. So for some context, I was in Bangkok for 7 days last October. I know, 7 days, pretty intense. We actually only planned to go for 3 days, but ended up staying for 7 days because we wanted to go back to Bali. We were going to stay in Thailand for longer, but we just loved it in Bali, and we felt like our time there wasn't finished yet, and we extended our stay there. However, rewind back the clock to the start of the year. By this point, I had been traveling as a digital nomad for about a year. November 2024, I sold all of my belongings, packed up my home, and me and Ailey made the decision for at least 2 years we were going to go and be full-blown digital nomads, remote workers who travelled all over the world and worked remotely, and it's been life-changing and a big part of the reason as to why I am where I am right now. But when I done that, there was a lot of things that I unearthed and it uncovered that I didn't expect. It removed a lot of stability for me, removed having a base, and I probably downplayed the effect that that had on me for a very long period of time. I felt like for my full-time traveling up until like July last year, I felt very uneasy. I felt very, I don't know, man, like I was growing, like I was making more money than I've ever made. I had more clients than I've ever had. I've had more authority online than I've ever had. Yet I felt the most unstable I've ever felt. On paper, everything was at the most it'd ever been. Yet I felt the most fragile and the most weak. So that was the first sort of signs. And I joined a program last year, and I was working with a coach, and I was like, right, it's time to go up a gear. And I've been doing this for years, and I took all the advice. I built a team. I had a full-time member of staff. I had Ailey, I had me, I had a few folk in the background as well, editors, thumbnail designers, an IT person, a salesperson. And man, it was all systems go, and yeah, man, like all the things were happening, everything was coming through. But I just felt this like immense pressure on myself. And I always remember hearing stories about like this point in business. And by this point, I've been in business for a while, and I was like, right, I need to have more. More is the answer to get me to the next level. From at the next level, I'll get the answer. But also another important point to add is for years, I have been on a big self-improvement journey where I've read consistently, invested in myself, got around the right people. So on the peripheral of my mind, like I'm always consuming content, reading books that are about spirituality, that are about deeper connection, that are about finding more meaning. And basically, long story short, in July, it kind of came full circle. My bank froze in Dubai, so I had to fly out there myself. I had to spend part of my savings to basically support all the team and pay all the bills, because I couldn't get access to my bank and there was no one to speak to. So as you can imagine, that makes you very uncertain. I was having difficulty with a couple of our team members at the time, which is a hard thing to do because it was all new to me. And one of my really close friends was going through a really, really hard time with his mental health. And I was one of the people there that were there for him. And when I say they were going through a very rough time, it was a rough time for them, as you can imagine. And I just felt that the weight of the world was on me, and I was imploding, man. And I spoke about this openly, and it makes me feel quite upset talking about it, because it was such a hard time, and I just felt like I didn't know what to do. I just felt so stuck, and I was just like, right, go and do all the necessary actions, go and do all the things. And anyway, I was in Malta, and I just had a particularly rough time with my mental health. Like I was like really, really not in a good spot. Anyway, it subsided, and We went back to Scotland for a couple of weeks, and I genuinely felt a lot better. But I had this sort of like part of my mind. I kept saying to Ailey, when we go back to Bali, my main focus is deep, meaningful work. I just want to go on this quest of curiosity and spirituality harder than I ever have. I feel like I've been scratching the surface of it. And yeah, like I've done meditation courses, I've done all sorts, but my issue was I was always looking at it through a lens of productivity. I was always looking at it through a lens of, if I do that, that will help me do that. I was missing the point. I'd experienced transcendental consciousness. It was like everything was fleeting though, so I felt like I was a couple of degrees off, but I didn't know what it was, and I felt so trapped in it, and everyone's just going, do more, bro, you have to just do more, the answer is doing more. And then we got out to Bali, and there was a book that I picked up, right? And it was by Jay Shetty. I think it's called Live Like a Monk. And it's a really meaningful book to me, because at that time I felt like I was healing through a lot of this like hard time that I'd went through in the months previous. And I felt like I was like recovering from it, man, because I was like so traumatized by everything that had kind of happened all at once. That trip for me was brilliant. We'd done 2 months in Bali before going to Thailand and deciding to come back. So we were only planning to go there for 2 months, and it was just a great 2 months. But I couldn't help but feel I was off, man. I just couldn't help but feel that although I was in a better spot, I felt like I've been here before, man. I've been at this point before where my mental health's in a good spot, things are going good, business is going good, relationships going good, but I just felt like, is this it? Is this it? Like, did I just keep going in this cycle of do the things, get the things, like just always that thing, outcome, almost like a bit of an outcome addict? Is this it? That was what was going through my mind. And then my parents came out, I had a great time, and I actually put a post up about this today on socials. All of the things that I'd done, I had a good time doing things. I don't want to paint a picture that was like a manic depressive. It was like I wasn't depressed, I wasn't overly happy, I just felt like there was a void missing inside of me. And I'm looking around at so many other entrepreneurs and execs and founders, and everyone's just in this hustle. And I've always been someone that's really prided myself on being connected to myself and self-aware and conscious, but being fully transparent, I didn't even fully understand what that meant. And anyway, my parents came out, and then we went to Bangkok with them. We went and done this tour with a thing called With Locals, and this woman took us around, and we were going around loads of temples, and we always joke and say that we're a bit templed out because we've spent so much time in Southeast Asia. I'm like, oh, another temple. And we got to this temple, this famous one in Bangkok, and it's got a set of stairs in it that you go up, but the stairs are shut. And for context, remember I've been reading this book about monks, and I've done a lot of reading about monks, but for where I was at in my journey, it hit me differently, and I realised I had to go on a path. I just had this, like, the book was just sitting in an airport as well, and I just seen it, and I went, I need to have that book, and I got it, and it was like, I didn't find that book, it found me. And it was just almost this like synchronicity I can't even really explain, and it was like all the pain that I'd been through was necessary because I was being told that you have to go deeper than you ever have done anyway. So this is obviously my mind, and I'm in this temple, and there's obviously monks there. And there's this monk sat inside. And I am just so aware of how still this guy is. So we're not in the building yet with this monk, and the woman goes, look, the stairs are shut, we're going to go in there and do a ceremony with the monk. Are you guys up for that? All you have to do is you pay for these things, and then you give it to the monk because they can't owe anything. And I've done a lot of reading on monks. I'm very familiar with it. I think it's an amazing philosophy, like Buddhism. It's very interesting. I seen this monk in my peripheral, and he's just so still, man. And my brain is going, looking at the time, and just going, he's been in there all day, just sitting like this. Just stillness, man. And it was just like this lightning shock in me, like, that is what someone who is consciously connected to themselves feels. That is someone that has found peace within themselves that you're lacking it. And it was like a gigantic mirror up to me. What you think you've found, Kristian, with peace and calmness and stillness, you've not even scratched the surface of this, man, and you've got a long road ahead of you to go on. And we went in, and it just was like this, I can't even explain it, like just this, for everything I've been feeling, everything I've been reading, everything that's been happening, it was just this like synchronicity that was like boom, 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 like, this is your answer, man, like you have to strip things back. And yeah, like I left that, and I just always remember it. This was almost the beginning of my Mr. Miyagi journey of self-discovery. And I can hand on heart say now, I am the calmest and most at peace with myself I've ever felt. And it's just completely made me change so much about myself. It made me change so much about how I operate, how I coach, because I couldn't help but feel, as I was working with so many people and I built myself up as this hybrid performance coach and personal development coach, and I'm working with all these highly driven people, business owners, people in corporate roles, people in high pressure jobs, I'm like, I am having the wrong conversations with you. And I realized that for me to really figure out that piece, I had to change everything about what I was doing, because I wasn't living a life and I didn't have a business that was actually incongruent with who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to coach. And it led me to ripping the business apart over the Christmas holidays, completely going back to what we do, changing everything about it. It's been the most transformational journey I've ever been on. It's taken so much balls to abandon everything that I've always done and reposition myself within myself and trust that and back that. And I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor, man. I'm feeling so good right now. My coaching is the best it's ever been. I'm feeling the best I've ever felt within myself, within my relationships. I'm laughing more than I ever have. And I'm watching everything flourish. And I'm just trusting the direction that it's going in and what's happening, what it's doing. And it's a very beautiful journey. And I'm helping other people go on that same journey as well, to genuinely change, rewire the way that they think, how they act, how they behave. Because this is the thing, guys. It's not just a case of trying to meditate. It's letting go of so many parts of you that are keeping you stuck, abandoning a sense of self that is actually now outdated. And the only way that you're going to get the new system is through letting go of a lot of ways that aren't actually serving you. That is how spending 45 minutes in the presence of a monk completely changed my life. I hope you enjoyed that. And if this is something that resonates for you and you want to create more stillness, more calmness in your life, and you're this person that seems to be conflicting because you're Mr. or Mrs. high performance in your career, within yourself, and you can't help but feel something's off, let me help you change it. Drop me the word saying go. I'll drop you some information, we'll grab a chat, and we can actually talk about how we can actually help you change your life and do both. Because there's no point in having all of this freedom, all of this wealth, all of this success, if you don't feel rich within yourself. And that's the most important part. So it's my message to you to say you can change, but ultimately sometimes you do have to get to the hard, dark points in order to actually do something about it. Anyway, see you later. Goodbye.